Well, a very good evening. It's an early evening. It's only 5:20, and I'm putting up a second upload regarding the cat. That cat returned again today. It was all very frisky in the house and stuff. What a delight to see a little creature being so happy in my company. I didn't bring any tea through because I'm obviously waiting my soup cooking, so I'm not having a cup of tea just now. But I was down at B&M. Oh yes, Andrew, what a surprise in your day. But I hadn't intentionally meant to go down, but I was in town and I just thought I'll zip down. And I'm glad I did because I managed to get the very, very last pack of sports mix. Well, it used to be called sports mixtures. They're kind of jelly-like sweetie, but they're all right as long as you don't eat too many. Just a couple every couple of hours is probably suffice. But and it's as I say, the last packet, and I always take great delight taking the last item off the shelf. No, I don't mean that at all. I did actually kind of hover around. I thought, oh, imagine somebody coming in looking for a bag of sports mixtures and not being able to get them. And then I noticed there was boxes of them. I thought, well, I'll just have to pay extra penny for the box. Actually, I maybe should have. Well, that's only £1. That's why I buy them. I don't really grumble about £1 for a packet of sweets, for as many as that. And but I really put into practice my art of cheering people up today. And as I say, it doesn't take a lot of trouble to do this in your life, but I see a gentleman. I did recognise him. He was a retired bus driver, and he was just sort of minding his own business. So I said to him, "Hello, how are you getting on? I've not seen you for a long time." And he was quite startled because I don't think anyone actually ever speaks to him. Well, I'm sure that's not quite the case, Andrew, but to understand, I don't think he expected anyone to speak to him in the B&M store, because there's a lot of low vibrational people in there today. I did notice this. Perhaps he was avoiding the low vibrationals himself, and he thought I was one. But of course he recognised me. He said, "Oh, hi there, how are you?" I says, "Not so bad, not so bad. Can't complain." Well, I can, but I'm not going to. So he chuckled away. So he was asking about the mountains and stuff, and I said, "Well, I've not really done an awful lot of mountains. The weather's been quite inclement." Although I did say to him, I said, "I think we're going to get snow. I feel snow in my bones." And he kind of looked at me oddly as if to say, well, no one else has ever mentioned it. But anyway, he was still quite aghast and taken aback that anyone had reached out to chat to him. So he was quite jolly, and then he talked about he said, "I remember you," and funny enough, I was just talking about that yesterday, about commuting. So that's what we talked about. I said to him, I says, "Yes, it used to drive me insane. Standing around waiting for a bloody bus that never came. Or if it did come, it was always late. Or shot off just 2 seconds early when you were trying to catch it. That was a nightmare." And I remember one time in Bertha, the Roman city of Bertha. I remember coming down from my place of employment, and the bus started to move away from the stands. Now, I waved to the driver, and I showed him my pass, and he realised, well, he's a regular customer of ours, and he's a frequent traveller. Let's just be awkward today and fucking reverse all the way back and not pick him up. I couldn't believe it. I said, "What the fuck are you doing?" And he shot off, and I ran after his bus, and I said, "Fucking stop the bus." But he kept going, so I said, "Well, fuck you, I'm going to get you at the next stop." So every time I ran down the hill to get to the next stop, he became stationary in traffic. He was just about to catch a bus and bash him on the nose. And then the traffic would move and he'd move off again. I was full exertion. I was fucking sprinting. I said, well, I know a shortcut through some of these fucking miserable-faced vanels where the low vibrationals seem to gather. So I zipped through the Venel and over the car park, and I managed to get to the bus queue, and he couldn't believe it. He could not believe it. I'd made it there. He was very, very shaken. And when I got onto the bus, I was going to give him a real piece of my mind, and I thought, no, I'm not even going to bother. I'm not going to upset myself further in front of all these passengers. I was just going to go, here's my pass. You did see me, didn't you? Yes, but I said, don't ever do that again. I will report you. So, anyway, I don't know what's happened to that driver. Anyway, what am I talking about? But anyway, I had a lovely chat with that gentleman, and then I zipped off to the checkout, and I was speaking to the girl in the checkout, and she was sharing some of her concerns about something. I said, oh dear, this doesn't sound good, does it? I said, oh, keep your chin up, don't worry about it. And she said, Andy, can I just ask you, why is it you're always so happy? I says, happy? Haven't you heard about me in Up and Down? And she goes, well, apart from Up and Down, how is it you're always so cheerful and happy? I says, well, one thing that's made me very happy today is I got the last packet of this. But she says, you are remarkably happy all the time. I says, well, what's the point of being sad? What's the point of everybody being miserable? It means, well, someone being happy. She says, well, it's always delightful to see you because you're always cheerful. And I says, well, not always, I can assure you. Anyway, what am I going to do? Yeah, I've loaded the first installment of the cat. I've just put up the second installment of the cat. It's ready shortly. And I've been working on my computer because so much invaluable space has been taken up with so many loads and, oh well, just, the situation. So I had to work on that to accommodate more space. So that's been a very time-consuming few hours. But the weather's not been too hot today. It's not been, not hot, but it's not been too great. So I don't really feel I've missed out on anything by not being outdoors, in the garden or indeed on the moors or anything, because it's not favourable, is it? It's breezy and cloudy and drizzly, and point spending money on diesel or petrol stuff, and there's no point in sometimes it's as well as taking it easy and sitting in the house. Anyway, Andrew, oh yes, that's the thing I maybe should say to you. When I was down to see Dr. GP last week, I said about my mental breakdowns and stuff, and he said, there was one thing we did pick up on the last examination. I says, oh, what? The examination? You remember you asked to have a look inside your brain. I says, oh yes, I remember that. She says, well, we had a little look through your ears, and we've had a peek, and what we found is that all your brain goes to the left. I says, exactly do you mean? All my brain goes to the left. She said, well, he says, everything in your head goes to the left. And I says, oh, what does that mean in layman terms, please, Dr. GP? He says, it just means that you're not right in the head. Oh, thank you for explaining.